I was born back in Singapore in 1966. My father was in the military and we were stationed in Singapore. My mother was Dutch and my father was half English and half South Asian. We lived in Singapore for the first couple of years of my life, and then we moved, as military families often move. We moved a couple more times until I was 7, and then they decided to stay in Germany. I'm the youngest of the 4 kids, so my parents had already done a lot of travelling before I was born, and they decided they wanted to settle in one country, which happened to be North Germany. At a young age, I felt that I had been born into the wrong body. And in my kind of childlike naivety, I just thought, as I grow up, this mistake will rectify itself. My bits will change at some point, and then by the time I'm puberty, I'll become a girl. I was very adamant about wanting to wear girls' clothes and play with dolls, and I didn't want to do anything the boys did because I just wasn't a boy. And I was going to school on the military base dressed as a girl, had long hair and long fingernails and this kind of stuff, and all longer hair than the other boys. And I didn't realise at the time, because I was still so young, that it was becoming slightly more problematic. I remember one incident where the headmaster of the school was showing a guest around the school as I was coming down the corridor, and he made some comment about, this is Dino, the prettiest girl in the school. And I was over the moon. I was just like, fabulous, somebody's just realised how beautiful I am. And I told this story over lunch to my mum and dad, and my dad was quite horrified because he could see that actually the head teacher wasn't being nice. So I looked very different from the other kids, and my mum, said to me, don't worry if the other kids make fun of you. She said it's just because they feel intimidated by your individuality and that they don't have the courage to be themselves, that they're all just sheep and they're all just wearing the same clothes to hide because they're too afraid to stand out. And then there was a kind of thing where my brothers and my dad had this kind of conversation about me dressing as a girl and how it obviously wasn't a phase and I was still doing it. And in their ignorance, I would say, they thought it would be the best idea to send me to an all-boys military school. It couldn't have been worse. Putting me in a boys' school with boys, having to wear boys' clothes and do military stuff. It was, you may as well just sent me straight to hell. And I remember packing my suitcase and putting all my girls' clothes in it. And my sister coming up to me, she's a few years older than me, and saying, you can't turn up at a boys' military school with a suitcase full of girls' clothes, you'll get crucified. And I was just like, do you know what? I don't care. You know what I mean? This is who I am. And, no, I'm not going to pretend to be anyone else. At this point, I had not pretended ever to be anyone else other than me. I was very against it. I think a big part of me didn't believe they were actually going to do it. I just didn't see things in terms of gender. I didn't see how one piece of clothing was a man's and another was a girl's, or a toy was a boy's or a girl's. It was like, I just wanted to wear fabulous things, and the fabulous things that I wanted to wear happened to be in the girls' shops. To this day, men's clothing is way more boring than women's, and men's shoes are way more. Everything is more boring. The women just have the fabulous stuff. And then, puberty hit, and then at the age of 13, and then suddenly, up until that, I'd been mistaken as a girl, and I was kind of thinking, if I stay like this and then transition, I'll get away with it. And then I went from being like 5 foot to nearly 6 foot within a year. I just grew and grew and grew. There was nothing I could do about it. My hands got big, and my feet got big, and my jaw got square, and I got a dimple in my chin, which you can't see, and it's just kind of family thing. And I got my Adam's apple came, and I was just like, damn it, suddenly everything was going to be so much more difficult.